People versus Tricia Cortez, 16 Bloomfield Township, 04739.
Thank you. Counsel, good morning. Your appearance on the record, please.
Yes, Your Honor. Good morning. Gerald Gleason on behalf of Tricia Cortez, who's
Thank you. Ms. Cortez, I need you to state your full name.
Tricia Ann Cordes.
All right, today is the date and time scheduled for sentencing. Let me put the plea date on the record. Back on August the 4th, you pled no contest to tumultuous conduct. I sent you to the probation department for a report. They authored it. In addition, Mr. Gleason, you did provide me a psychological evaluation. Thank you very much. Mr. Gleason, obviously she has complete right to confidentiality in this report because of the HIPAA laws. Do you mind if I generally address it?
I have no objection to a general
All right, Ms.
review.
Cortez, do you have any objection to me generally addressing it?
Not a problem.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Gleason, is the pre-sentence investigation accurate?
Your Honor, I have had the opportunity to go over it with Ms. Cortez. We do have a couple of additions and one correction.
Go ahead.
I'll start with the correction. It indicates that there's a warrant from the 44th District Court. Actually, we've appeared before Judge Meineke, have been arraigned, and the pretrial, I think, is coming up in a couple weeks.
All right, fair enough.
With respect to Ms. Cortez's health, a week ago Monday, she was taken by ambulance to St. Joe Hospital. She underwent emergency surgery on her stomach. She had a bleeding and ulcer that burst. She currently has 22 staples in her stomach. She is taking some pain medication, but I'm confident in speaking with her that she's competent to proceed today. She understands the proceedings. She has a follow-up meeting tomorrow with the physician, and she was driven here by her mother due to the health issues right now. Finally, with respect to restitution, we recognize the cake was never paid for, so we believe that we would be due a fee of approximately $25 to pay for the cake.
All right, what I'll do is I will indicate that restitution will be to be determined. We'll let Kroger give us a bill for that.
Thank you, and with that, I just simply ask the opportunity to allocate at the appropriate time.
All right, thank you. This would be the appropriate time, but bear with me one moment. Ms. Cortez, because of your surgery, do you want to go forward today?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, fair enough. All right, Mr. Gleason.
Thank you, Your Honor. And I appreciate the opportunity to review the pre-sentence report this morning. This is a case where a person that I've represented for about a year and a half. And more recently, I have seen her vilified by the press and social media. And even the pre-sentence report only devotes probably about a paragraph to who she really is. And I think the real Tricia Cortez has gotten lost in the media's fascination with this case for whatever reason they find it fascinating. But having known her a year and a half, there's a little more to her, and I think she's a much better person than you might think reading the pre-sentence report or the accounts that are published in the press. The most telling interaction I've had with her that I think speaks about her is when we were going down to the arraignment before Judge Meineke. I drove her down there, and I was speaking with my wife on the phone, and when I completed the call, Ms. Cortez looked at me and said, "You didn't tell your wife you loved her when you hung up the phone." And we proceeded to have a conversation about that, and I think that typifies who she is. She's underneath a good person who's concerned about other people, and I know this incident doesn't show that, probably shows the worst side of her, but there truly is a good side. And when we look at being or misbehaving in Kroger, what comes to mind for me is that this was a very childish act. It was a very immature act. And I think Ms. Cortez recognizes that. In looking at what the probation department said with its rationale, I think, and I'm not going to quote, but it said the reason for concern is that she committed this offense and the Royal Oak offense after she was placed to do anger management by the Troy District Court. Well, technically, the Royal Oak incident occurred a year ago, so really this outburst at Kroger occurred, yes, after Judge Drury said, go to anger management. But the important thing to note there is that she had only completed one anger management class. And after this incident, she completed the other 7. And I think there's information provided to you both by her psychologist and the manager of the EIP anger management program that said she is dedicated to and she really invested, I think the word is invested, in her therapy, invested in the program. And I think that is the true Tricia Cortez, who recognizes she did something wrong here and is working to change that. And so when there's any question about whether has been a positive change in her, I think that word investment is the word the court should look for. In terms of the four factors that you look at in terms of sentencing, and that's punishment and recidivism and rehabilitation to deterrence, and I think perhaps avoiding disparities in sentences should be in there too. I think that Ms. Cortez has suffered some already. There are few people, I think, that come before you who have received the type of attention that she has. She has received the attention of the community. She has received it thanks to the media. And she has heard the message. She has heard the message. Unfortunately, her children have seen this, and that's been very painful to her, and I think that's a punishment of its own. And so certainly in terms of punishment, she has been given Metro Detroit's Scarlet Letter, I think, for 2016. In terms of rehabilitation, she's taken it upon herself. She is seeing the therapist. She's seeing the therapist and will continue to see the therapist. And certainly deterrence, I think no one looking at what has happened to her and the way the public has treated her, rightfully or wrongfully, that's not for me to determine. But no one seeing her now would say she got off easy. I mean, she has been held certainly to a high account by a lot of people. And in fashioning the right sentence for her, I think the court should take account of what she's done on her own. And if the court needs to send her a message, I think it doesn't need to do that with incarceration. I think the better way to do it would be to give her a substantial period of community service, not the type of community service at perhaps at a church or a school, but with the underprivileged of this community, where she can see that she has, for all intent and purposes, pretty good, and she should give back to the community and I think she would do it voluntarily, but I think having that opportunity is the right message to send in this particular case. And so I think the majority of the recommendations of the probation department are certainly fair. I think certainly telling her to go see her counselor once a week would be good, and certainly a substantial period of community service would be appropriate in this particular case.
All right, Mr. Gleason, thank you very much. Ms. Cortez, is there anything that you want to say before I sentence you?
Yeah, I apologize for my actions at Kroger. I am truly embarrassed by my conduct. I've been seeing my therapist and putting very much effort into it, and I plan to continue to do so, and it's very much helping.
You know, Ms. Cortez, when I first saw this case and started to review it, the first thing that hit me is perhaps this individual is suffering from some mental illness, and that's not the case with you.
No.
When I received that report, quite frankly, based on your behavior, I was pretty surprised to find that there was no mental illness. What concerns me is that something as trivial as a design on a cake literally threw you into a tizzy. Actually, better stated, a temper tantrum. And while you may not think that your behavior affects other people, here you are in the middle of a public place, basically drop-kicking a cake because you were upset and dropping the F-bomb. If I was shopping with a child, I'd be horrified. And quite frankly, I think the child would be horrified as well. So while your intent might be good, everybody else seems to be on the other side of your behavior. And that is absolutely unacceptable in a civilized society for you to be behaving that way. And again, I'll go back to, it was a temper tantrum. You seem to throw temper tantrums when you don't get what you want when you want it. You clearly have some things that you need to work on. And I agree with Mr. Gleason that you need some perspective. I don't think there's a person that read these reports, seeing your behavior because of the design on a cake, that didn't come to the conclusion that this is a woman that certainly isn't looking at life in a way that's appropriate, that's centered, that's balanced. My God, you have it well. You live a beautiful life, and you're upset because of a cake? So, Mr. Gleason, I completely agree with you. And weighing all the four factors in sentencing, which I have to, and Mr. Gleason has gone through from start to finish, it's clear to me that you do need some perspective. So what I'm going to do in this case is quite simple. Number one, yes, you need to continue with your therapist. I'm ordering that at least once a week.
Okay.
Number 2, I am giving you 300 hours of community service at a soup kitchen or a homeless shelter, someplace where you get some perspective on life. There are people out there that really are living challenging existences, and you're throwing a tantrum over a cake. Next, fines and costs. Fines are $500. That's the maximum fine I can impose, and I'm imposing it. Fines are $500, costs are $350, probation oversight's $40 a month. It's going to be a period of 12 months probation. This part's for the record. 93 days credit for?
None yet.
None yet. 0 days now. So no jail time. But let me tell you this. If you violate the law again, if you are any trouble at the community service that you're doing, I'm going to get your attention, and I'm going to get it with some jail time. I would rather not do that. But if I have to, I will, because my job is number 1, to protect the community, and that includes keeping the standards high in this community. All right, next, no violations of the law. No drinking. No drugs except medication properly prescribed. How many hours a week do you work? I know what you do for a living, but how many hours a week do you work?
About 35.
All right, the community service, I will give her 5 months to complete it. Let me make sure she has time to do that.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Yeah, that's plenty of time. 5 months to complete it. I'm going to continue the no contact provision. You are not to walk into a Kroger. Evaluation's 100. Did she complete the anger management that was ordered by Troy?
She did, yes.
So she has finished the entire program.
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you learn anything?
Yes.
What did you learn?
I learned that it's not worth it, that you really need to take time and think about things, and it's okay to be angry, but it's how you react when you are angry.
It's that, but it's one other thing also. It's the way you look at the world. If you think it's okay to be angry because there's 2 extra black frosting cars on a cake, then, ma'am, you're just living a life where you're running around with such anger inside of you, and that can't feel good on any level. And that's why I say you need some serious perspective. I also will note for the record that the report, the psychological report, indicated that she is not a danger to the community. If it even suggested that she was a danger to the community, there is no way I would be ordering her to do any community service, because I wouldn't want her around people that she would be a danger to. But they made it very clear there's no danger. She just basically, and I'm using my words, not the professional world, she just throws tantrums. All right, Mr. Gleason, anything else?
No, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All right. Ms. Cordes, do you have any questions?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
All right, tell me, when is she going to Royal Oak?
I believe it's 2 weeks from now. I may be off by a few days, but
All right, fair enough.
October 6th.
Your Honor, one issue with the community service.
I'm listening.
Because of her surgery, if we could we make it 5 months starting next month?
Yeah, how long are they basically saying that you can't engage in any lifting at all? You have stitches, correct?
I have staples, 22 staples down the middle of my stomach. They're saying probably about another 3 weeks.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and extend the community service period of 6 months.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right. All right, that should take care of it. Mr. Gleason, if you'll come forward, I'll hand you the file. You can take your client up front. actually done at probation. Mr. Grossman, would you approach the bench, please?